Now we will solve some problems regarding the fourth chapter. Now the first problem is a circular coil of wire consisting of 100 turns each of radius 8.0 centimeter carries a current of 0.4 amps. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the center of the coil? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಆ ಕಾಯಿಲ್ 100 ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. Each turn is closely wound so that each turn has the same radius of 8 centimeter and the current flowing is this much. Now we have to calculate what is the magnetic field at the center. A very simple problem. I will take here solution. Now given, what are the given things here? Number of turns is given. The number of turns is equal to 100 turns. Radius of each turn is given. Therefore, R is equal to 8.0 centimeter, or that is equal to 8 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. It is in centimeter. We are converting it into SI unit. And the current flowing in each turn is current is 0.4 amps. 0.4. Then what is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the center? Since they have asked at the center, we are already familiar with that one. That is, we are taking B naught. We know now this is the case of a circular loop. Case of a circular loop carrying a current that we have already derived. Okay. We have derived the expression for the axial point and also finally obtained at the expression for magnetic field at the center. Radius we have taken capital R, sorry. Radius we have taken capital R. Okay, the derivation time. Therefore, we are taking capital R. The magnetic field at the center of the circular loop is given by B naught is equal to mu naught N I divided by 2 R. That we have already know that formula. Just substitute and simplify. That is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Number of turns that is given 100 turns and the current flowing is 0.4 amps. This much of current is flowing. So divided by 2 into radius. So radius is 8 centimeter. That is 8 into 10 raised to minus 2. Okay. So here 1s are 2s are. Therefore B naught is equal to, if you take the calculator and simplify. Okay. 2 into pi 3.14 into 0.4 divided by 8. So that is equal to 0.314 I am getting. 0.314. Now let me simplify the powers. Now here we have 10 raised to minus 7. Here at 100 we have, that can be written as 10 to the power of 2. Therefore, 10 raised to minus 7 plus 2, it is 10 raised to minus 5. In the denominator, we have 10 raised to minus 2. If you take to the numerator, it becomes plus 2. So, I will write here. So, into 10 raised to minus 7. Now, 100, this can be written as 10 raised to plus 2. Denominator, 10 raised to minus 2 is it is 10 raised to plus 2. Okay. So, therefore, B naught is equal to 0.314 into 4, that is 10 to the power of minus 3, or B naught is equal to 0.3.14. It is equal to 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. That is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the center of the circular loop. And also we are familiar with what is 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. It is 1 Gauss. 1 Gauss is 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. But this is in SI unit. Next problem. A long wire, straight wire, carries a current of 35 amps. Carries a current of 35 amps. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field at a point 20 centimeter from the wire. So very simple one. Now what are the given things? We will list out. Given we have a straight wire, single wire, which carries a current of I is equal to 35 amps. We have to calculate what is the magnitude of the magnetic field at a distance 20 centimeter. We have taken small distance, small r as the distance of that particular point from the wire. That is 20 centimeter. It is in CGS unit. Convert it into SI unit. If you will get 20 into 10 raised to minus 2 or 0.2. 20 into 10 raised to minus 2 or 0.2 meter. That is. We have to calculate simply the magnitude of the magnetic field at that particular point. We are already familiar with this diagram. We have a long, infinite long wire carrying a current in a particular direction. Then we have to calculate at this point the magnetic field that we have derived the relation. Okay. Now the formula for magnetic field in the case of a long straight current carrying wire is B is equal to mu naught I divided by 2 pi r. It's a very simple relation. Mu naught I divided by 2 pi r. Mu naught, it is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7, that we know. The current flowing is 35 amps divided by 2 pi into the distance of the point. It is 20 into 10 raised to minus 2. Now, ones are, twos are, ones are, tens are. Okay. So therefore, B is equal to 35 by 10 is 3.5. 35 by 10 is 3.5, and the powers here it is 10 raised to minus 7. In the denominator 10 raised to minus 2. If you go to the numerator, it becomes 10 to the power of plus 2. So therefore, it is 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. The magnitude of the magnetic field at this point at a distance of 20 centimeter from the current carrying wire is 3.5 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. Next problem. A long straight wire in the horizontal plane carries a current of 50 amps in north to south direction. Give the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field at a point 2.5 meter east of the wire. Now they have given a plane. I will take this as the plane, blackboard. Okay. Now here I am having a wire. We have a wire. Now we have to mention the direction also. Now upward is north and downward is south and east and west, that we know. It should be in the plane, okay, like that. Now it is carrying the current in which direction? It is north towards the south. North towards the south it is carrying. Now where is the point? The point is towards east. Now here we have a point, some point. Distance. At this point we have to calculate the magnitude of the magnetic field. Okay, very simple. Given current is given, that is equal to 50 amps. The distance of the point from the current carrying wire, that is 2.5 meter. Just we have to calculate the magnitude of the magnetic field. It is similar to that of previous problem. Okay. Here we have to also mention the direction also. Therefore, the formula for the magnitude of the magnetic field at a point due to an infinitely long current carrying wire is mu naught I divided by 2 pi r. That formula, simple formula. And substituting and simplifying, mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Current I, that is 50 divided by 2 pi into r, it is 2.5. 2.5. Now here ones are, twos are, okay, 2.5 ones are, 20s are, 2.5 ones are, 2.5 20s are, easily cancel ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Therefore 2 into 20, that is 40 into 10 is to minus 7. If you write it in the scientific notation, we are getting 4.0 into 10 is to minus 6 Tesla. 4.0 into 10 is to minus 6 Tesla. It is the magnitude of the magnetic field. So very simple problem. The direction is given by the right hand thumb rule. If you hold the current carrying conductor in your right hand with a stretched thumb indicating the direction of the current, then the encircled four fingers represents the direction of the magnetic field. So here is current is north to south direction. If I hold like this, current is in this direction. So therefore the direction of the magnetic field here it is. In this case, on the left hand side, it is into the plane of the board. On the right hand side, at the point B, it is coming out of the plane of the board. It is coming out of the plane of the board. But since they have in the problem they have given, they have placed the conductor in a horizontal plane. Now this is the horizontal plane. Okay. Now this is the current carrying. This is the horizontal plane. Now this is the current carrying conductor. If I take this as the north and this as south, now north to south direction current is flowing. Okay, north to south. Now this side is, your side is east and my side is west. Okay. Now I am holding this pen with the right hand. The current is from north to south. Now the magnitude of the magnetic field. Towards you, it is coming up. At the east, the magnetic field is rising and going turning, and towards me, it is going downwards. That is west side. West side is downwards, and at the east side, the magnetic field is coming upwards. So therefore, the direction is at the point is moving upwards. It is moving upwards. So here it is moving away from the plane of the board. But since they have given in the horizontal plane, it is moving upwards. Now in this diagram, this is the pen conductor. Now here the magnetic field is moving upwards. Now here it is moving downwards at the left hand side. So therefore at the point P, the magnetic field is upwards. Next problem. A horizontal overhead power line carries a current of 90 amps in east to west direction. What is the magnitude and direction of the magnetic field due to the current 1.5 meter below the line? So simple problem. Now once again I will write the direction. Now this is east and west, and this is north and south. Okay. Now we have a power line. We have this power line, a wire. It is carrying the current from east to west direction. A person is standing below this wire. Okay, he is standing below the wire. Now, what is the direction of this magnetic field? What is the direction of the magnetic field? At the observer point of view. That is, he is at a distance of 1.5 meter. He is at a distance of 1.5 meter. I think overhead. ನಮ್ಮ ತಲೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ವೈರ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ ವೈರ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೇಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ 1.5 ಮೀಟರ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ magnetic field? That we have to calculate. So simple problem. So given, what are the given things? Look here. Current is given. I is equal to 90 amps in east-west direction, that is given, and the distance of the point at which we are going to calculate is 1.5 meter. So simply work out simple problem. What is the magnitude of the magnetic field? We are familiar with the formula. The magnetic field due to a current carrying wire is mu naught I divided by 2 pi r. Simple formula. Substitute the values. So it is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Current is 90 divided by 2 pi into distance is 1.5. 1.5. Okay. So here 2s are 1.5, 1.5 ones are 1.5 60s are 15 ones are 15 6s are 90, like that. Okay. 60 into 2 120 into 10 to the power of minus 7. If you write it in the scientific notation, is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to minus 5 Tesla. The magnitude of the magnetic field is 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Tesla. Now the direction. Once again, direction is given by the right hand rule. So look here. So current is flowing from east to west. If I hold this current carrying conductor such that the thumb indicating the direction of the current, then the encircled fingers represents the direction of the magnetic field. Now the magnetic fields are like this. Now this direction is, if I take it as east and my backside is west, current is from east to west direction, and my left side is north and right side is south. Okay. Now the current is on over my head. Now if I hold that current with the right hand, then the magnetic fields are in circular shape. Clear? Above the wire, the magnetic field is towards the north. Above the wire, the magnetic field is into the plane of the board, that is towards the north. It is moving towards the north direction. Below the wire, where I am standing, below the wire, the magnetic field is towards this direction, that is towards south. That is, here it is coming out of the plane of the board, but in north-south direction it is towards the north, and it is at the below the wire, it is towards the south direction. Okay. Next problem. What is the magnitude of the magnetic force per unit length on a wire carrying a current of 8 amps and making an angle of 30 degree with the direction of a uniform magnetic field of 0.15 Tesla. So we have a current carrying wire which is making an angle of 30 degree with the magnetic field. Now if I take this as the magnetic field direction, now I am having a wire which is carrying the current, and here the angle is 30 degree. Okay. Current carrying 30 degrees on it. What is the magnitude of the magnetic force per unit length? That we have to calculate. Now the formula is first given things. Let me list out what are the given things. So given current, it carries a current of 8 amps, making an angle theta with the theta, that is 30 degree, and the magnitude of the magnetic field, a uniform magnetic field he has given 0.15 Tesla. Now what we are going to calculate? Force per unit length, that we have written small letter F. We know that a current carrying conductor, when placed in a uniform magnetic field, it experiences a force, and The formula for the magnitude of the force is given by I L B sin theta. You have taken small letter L, okay? F by L, small letter L. ILB sin theta. Now, here they have asked to calculate force per unit length, F by L. So, therefore, it is simply IB sin theta formula. Now, work out this one. Now, I is 8 and magnetic field is 0.15 into sine 30 degree. Okay. 0.15 into 8. 1.2. If you multiply this one, 15 8s are 120, therefore it is 1.2 into sine 30 is half. Therefore, force per unit length is 1.2 divided by 2 is 0.6. Unit is Newton per meter. It is not the force, it is force per unit length. Therefore, it is Newton per meter. So, it is a simple problem. Next problem. A 3.0 centimeter wire carrying a current of 10 amps is placed inside a solenoid perpendicular to its axis. The magnetic field inside the solenoid is given to be 0.27 Tesla. What is the magnetic force on the wire? Now we have a solenoid here. Okay, its axis if I take along this direction. Now a current carrying conductor is placed perpendicular to it. Now this is the conductor, direction of the conductor, perpendicular to it. We have to calculate what is the magnitude of the force on that conductor. Okay, very simple problem. So given here, current through the wire I is equal to 10 amps. Magnetic field inside the solenoid, magnitude of the magnetic field inside the solenoid, it is 0.27 Tesla. 0.27 Tesla. And length of the wire is given 3 centimeter. Now length of the wire is 0.3 centimeter. If I convert it into meter, 3 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. We have to calculate the magnitude of the force. Simple relation. Whenever a current carrying conductor is placed in an external magnetic field. Now here they have given the solenoid to get a uniform magnetic field, that's all. We are not using the formula for magnetic field due to a solenoid. We are not using, they have given that value. Okay. Just to make confusion, they have given like that. Now the magnitude of the force is equal to ILB sin theta. Now here the conductor is placed perpendicular to the axis of the solenoid. So therefore the conductor L and B are perpendicular to each other. Now theta is 90 degree. Therefore the magnitude of the force is F is equal to simply I into L into B. Now what is I? It is 10 amps. And length of the conductor is 3 centimeter, that is 3.0 into 10 raised to minus 2 multiplied by B, magnitude of the magnetic field 0.27. If is equal to 0.27 into 3, if you multiply that one, it is 0.81. 27 3s, it is 81, therefore 0.81 into 10 to the power of minus 1, 10 to the power of plus 1, 10 to the power of minus 2, 10 to the power of plus 1, it is 10 to the power of minus 1. Therefore, the magnitude of the force is 0.081 Newton, or in scientific notation, 8.1 into 10 raised to minus 2 Newton. Now, this amount of force is experienced by that wire placed inside the solenoid, and the direction of the force is worked out by using Fleming's left hand rule. If you know both the direction of the magnetic field, direction of the current, then thumb indicates the direction of the force. If you hold the first three fingers of the left hand mutually perpendicular to each other, now the forefinger indicates the direction of the magnetic field, middle finger indicates the direction of the current, then obviously the stretched thumb indicates the direction of the magnetic force experienced by that wire. Next problem. Two long and parallel straight wires A and B carrying currents of 8 amps and 5 amps in the same direction are separated by a distance of 4 centimeter. Estimate the force on a 10 centimeter section of the wire A. Now it is the case of a parallel currents. Now they have given, we have two conductors. Now this is the conductor A, and we have one more conductor, that is conductor B. Now this conductor is carrying a current of, so it is 8 amps. Now this conductor B is carrying a current of 5 amps. Now they are separated by a distance of, now this is the distance of separation that we have taken, D, that is 4 centimeter. Now what is the force between those two? That is, what is the force on the conductor A? Okay, it's a length of 10 centimeter they have given. Now this length, up to this length they have given 10 centimeter. What is the force on conductor A due to the magnetic field of the conductor B? Okay, very simple one. So given current flowing through the first conductor IA, that is 8 amps. Now current flowing through the second conductor IB, that is equal to 5 amps. They are separated by a distance of 4 centimeter, or 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2 meter. Okay. And the length of the conductor capital L is equal to 10 centimeter, that is 0.1 meter. What we are going to calculate? We are going to calculate what is the force on the conductor A due to the current in the conductor B, due to the magnetic field of B. That we know, force on the conductor A due to the conductor B is equal to mu naught IA IB L divided by 2 pi D. That formula we have derived in the case of force between parallel currents. Okay, that is the formula. Now substitute. Mu naught is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. IA is 8, IB is 5, and length is 0.1 divided by 2 pi into distance is 4 centimeter. 4 into 10 to the power of minus 2. Now 1s are, now 2s are, here get cancels. So to 1s are, to 2s are, now 2s are, now here it is 4s are. Easily cancel lagta hai. Therefore, force on the conductor A due to the magnetic field of B is equal to, what is the remaining thing here? 5, 4s are 20, 20 into 0.1 is 10 raised to minus 1. Okay, 10 raised to minus 1, 10 raised to minus 7, it is 10 raised to minus 8. In the denominator we have 10 raised to minus 2. If it comes to the numerator, plus 2. Therefore it is 10 to the power of minus 6. Therefore, force on the conductor A due to the magnetic field of B is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Newton. 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Newton. This force is attractive because the two currents are in the same direction. We know that the parallel currents attract and anti-parallel currents repel each other. Next problem. A closely wound solenoid 80 centimeter long has a 5 layers of windings of 400 tons each. The diameter of the solenoid is 1.8 centimeter. If the current carried is 8 amps, estimate the magnitude of the magnetic field inside the solenoid near its center. Here we have to calculate what is the magnitude of the magnetic field inside a solenoid, current carrying solenoid. Now here they have given 5 layers of windings. Now each layer is having 400 tons. Then in total, how many number of tons are there? It is 5 into 400 that you have to take. Okay. Now solution. Now given, what are the given things? List it out. The length of the solenoid is given. The length of the solenoid is 80 centimeter. That is 0.8 meter. Okay. And the total number of turns in the solenoid. Now each layer is having 400 turns. Therefore, we are having 5 layers. Therefore, total numbers is 5 into 400. 5 into 400, it is the total number of turns in that given solenoid. Now, the diameter of the solenoid is given. It is of no use, just to make the confusion for you. And the current flowing through the solenoid is 8 amps. Is 8 amps. We have to calculate what is the magnetic field at the center. So simple relation we have. The formula for magnetic field inside the solenoid we know is given by mu naught n into I. Here we have written small letter n, which is number of turns per unit length. So therefore that should be is equal to capital N I divided by length of the conductor. Small n is number of turns per unit length. So that should be is equal to total number of turns divided by the length of the solenoid. So substitute the values. It is 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Number of turns is total number of turns 5 layers, and each layer is having 400 turns. And the current flowing is 8 amps, and divided by the length of the conductor, it is 0.8 meter. Okay. So simple is that. So 1s are 10s are, okay, 3.14 into 4. Okay, I take the calculator. 4 into 3.14 into 5 into this 4 is equal to 251.2. I am getting 251.2. Now let me adjust the powers. 10 raised to minus 7. Here 10 raised to plus 2 and 10 raised to 1. That is 10 raised to plus 3. 10 raised to minus 7, 10 raised to plus 3. That is 10 raised to minus 4. 10 raised to minus 4, or B is equal to, now rearrange, or if you write it in the scientific notation, 2.512 into 10 raised to minus 2 Tesla. Now this is the magnitude of the magnetic field at the center of the solenoid. Next problem. A square coil of side 10 centimeter consists of 20 turns and carries a current of 12 amps. A coil is suspended vertically, and the normal to the plane of the coil makes an angle of 30 degree with direction of the uniform horizontal magnetic field of magnitude 0.80 Tesla. What is the magnitude of the torque experienced by the coil? That we have to calculate. We have a square coil. It is suspended vertically in the presence of a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field of 0.8 Tesla. It is suspended such that the normal to the coil. Now this normal to the coil gives the direction of what? It gives the direction of magnetic moment, which is the product of current and the area of the square loop. Magnetic moment direction. Normal to the coil represents the direction of the magnetic moment, and magnetic moment is making an angle of 30 degree with the magnetic field. Then we have to calculate what is the magnitude of the torque. Now given, now we will list out what are the given things. We have a square coil of side 10 centimeter. Since it is a square coil, what is its area? Now area is equal to L square, that is 10 square, that is 100 square centimeter. 100 square centimeter. If you convert it into meter, that is 100 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter. Meter ge convert ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ it is 100 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter ಆಗ್ತದೆ. It is having the total number of turns. Capital N is equal to 20 turns. That coil has 20 turns. It carries a current of 12 amps. Carries a current of 12 amps and is suspended, and the normal to the plane, just we have told that normal to the plane is nothing but the direction of the magnetic moment, is making an angle theta, that is 30 degree with the direction of the magnetic field. Magnetic field magnitude ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, that is equal to 0.80 Tesla. Now these are the given data. Now what we are going to calculate? We have to calculate what is the torque, magnitude of the torque acting on it. Now we know the formula. When a current loop is placed in an external uniform magnetic field, it experiences a torque, and that is given by mb sin theta, where m is magnetic moment of the current loop. Now that m is N I A. Magnetic moment is, it is the product of current into area. Since the coil is having n number of turns, therefore it is NIA. The magnetic moment becomes NIA. Now this is the same magnetic field into sin theta. That is the magnitude. Okay. Now simply substitute the values. Now 20 I 12 area 100 into 10 raised to minus 4. B, magnetic field 0.8 and sin 30. Okay. 20, 12, this becomes 10 raised to minus 2, 0.8 into half. So, ones are 0.4. Okay. 12 twos are 24. 24 into 4, it is 96. 20 into 12, 240 into 10 raised to minus 2 into 0.4. 24 into 4 is 96. That is 240 into 0.4. It is 96 into 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, simple multiplication is there. Now torque is equal to 0.96 Newton meter. That coil experiences a torque of 0.96 Newton meter. Clear? Now what is the direction of this torque? Now the direction of the torque is perpendicular to both the direction of the magnetic moment and the direction of the magnetic field. That is, it is perpendicular to the plane containing the magnetic moment and the magnetic field. Next problem, two moving coil meters M1 and M2 have the following particulars. R1, that is resistance of the first coil at 10 ohm, number of turns is 30, A1 area of cross section 3.6 into 10 to minus 3 meter cube meter square, and B1 magnetic field is 0.25 Tesla. For the second meter, R2 is 14 ohm, N2 is 42, A2 is 1.8 into 10 to minus 3 meter square, and B2 is 0.50 Tesla. Spring constant is identical for the two meters, that is K is same. Determine the ratio of current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity of M2 and M1. The ratio of M2 and M1, current sensitivity and voltage sensitivity, that you have to write. Now here are the given things. These are given. Those are the given things. Okay. Now solution. Now current sensitivity is given by the relation phi by I. Phi is the deflection. Deflection per unit current is current sensitivity is equal to N A B divided by K. That is the general formula for current sensitivity. Now for the first meter, it is phi by I is equal to, so N1 A1 B1 divided by K. K is same. Okay. Now this is for M1. Okay. This is for the first meter. Similarly for the second meter, phi by I for the second meter is equal to N2 A2 B2 divided by K. Okay. Now we have to take the ratio of these two. Ratio of these two. Okay. If I simply write this as IS for the second meter, that is current sensitivity for the second meter to the current sensitivity for the first meter. For convenience, I am writing that one. Okay. Taking the ratio of those two. Now K is constant for the both the cases, therefore get cancels. We are getting N2 A2 B2 divided by N1 A1 B1. Now substitute the values. Now N2 is given 42, A2 is given area, that is 1.8 into 10 raised to minus 3, and B2 0.5, whole thing divided by N1, it is 30 into A1 3.6, 10 raised to minus 3, and field 0.25. Now just simplify this one. Okay, this is equal to, now look here, 10 raised to minus 3, 10 raised to minus 3, 1.8, 3.6, 1s are, here it is 2s are, now here also 0.25, 0.5, 1s are, now here it is 2s are, now this 2 get cancelled. Only I have to work out 42 by 30. Okay, 42 by 30, if you work out 42 divided by 30, it gives 1.4. So the ratio is 1.4. Here, this is current sensitivity. Similarly, work out for the voltage sensitivity. Now, what is the expression for voltage sensitivity? Now it is phi by V, number of deflections per unit voltage, number of deflections per unit volts. That is voltage sensitivity. It has the same relation N A B divided by K with 1 by R. N A B by K with 1 by R term. That is voltage sensitivity. Now write the equation for 2 meters. Now for the first meter, phi by V, that is first meter, equal to obviously N1 A1 B1 divided by K into 1 by R1. For the second meter 2, it is N2 A2 B2 by K 1 by R2. Now take the ratio of these two. Okay, taking the ratio of those two, I will write here. Coming to the step, taking the ratio, I am getting. I will write it as voltage sensitivity for the second meter to the voltage sensitivity for the first meter. Okay, taking the ratio KK get cancels there. I am getting N2 A2 B2 divided by N1 A1 B1 into R1 by R2. I am getting R1 by R2. Now this term you have already calculated in current sensitivity. This term you have already calculated in current sensitivity. It is 1.4. So therefore I will directly substitute that value 1.4. Now R1 is given 10 and R2 is given, that is 14. Therefore 1.41 tens are 14. So 10 get cancels. Therefore the ratio of voltage sensitivity of the second meter to the first meter is 1. Next problem. In a chamber, a uniform magnetic field of 6.5 Gauss, that is 1 Gauss is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla, that is given, is maintained. An electron is shoot into the field with a speed of 4.8 into 10 raised to 6 meter per second, normal to the field. Determine the radius of the circular orbit and the frequency of revolution of the electron. And also we have to give the reason why the orbit is in circular, and does the frequency depends on energy or the velocity. And given charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, mass of the electron 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. Okay, so we will list out what are the given things. Given first a magnetic field of 6.5 Gauss, but it is not in SI unit. We have to write it in SI unit. That is 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. Now speed of the electron. Electron speed is given. It is 4.8 into 10 raised to 6 meter per second. Speed of the electron is given. Charge of the electron is given. E is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. The mass of the electron is also given. Mass of the electron is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kg. With these data, we have to calculate what is the radius of the circular path traced by the electron, and hence the frequency of revolution of the electron. These two things we have to find out. Now we know that radius is given by the formula m into v divided by b into q. Q is the general formula. Okay, since we are having an electron, therefore this formula changes to r is equal to m v divided by b into e, where e is the charge of the electron. Now substitute and simplify, we will get the radius. Okay, now m is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31. Now velocity, it is 4.8 into 10 raised to 6 divided by magnetic field 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 4. Okay, and charge is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. Okay, look here, 1.6 ones are, it is 3s are. Okay, now rest of the thing is done with the calculator. 9.1 into 3 divided by 6.5 is equal to 4.2. 4.2. Now I have to simplify the powers. 10 raised to minus 31 plus 10 to the power of 6. It is 10 to the power of minus 25 into, in the denominator it is 10 to the power of minus 19 minus 4 minus 13 23 minus 19 minus 4 minus 23. If you take it to the numerator it is plus 23. Therefore radius is equal to 4.2 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter, or it is 4.2 centimeter. The radius of this circular orbit is 4.2 centimeters, or 4.2 into 10 raised to minus 2 meters. Now why it describes circular path? Now here the velocity vector and the field vector are perpendicular to each other. When a charged particle moves in the presence of a magnetic field, it experiences a magnetic force that is given by QVB sin theta. Okay. Since this velocity vector and the field vector are mutually perpendicular, now this sin theta becomes 1. Therefore, the charged particle experiences a force. The direction of the force is given by the Fleming's left hand rule. Now, based on that one, the force is always directed towards the center, and hence the electron, it goes on bending. That means it describes a circular path. Now, this force provides centripetal force, and hence the electron describes a circular path. Next, we have to calculate frequency. Now, frequency of revolution, that we are going to calculate. The frequency of revolution is given by BQ, general formula. Here, since we are taking the charge, we are taking the charge of the electron, BE divided by 2 pi m, where m is mass of the electron. If you write it as this one. Now, simple relation, this is equal to, now B, they have given 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 4, 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 4. E, charge of the electron, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 divided by 2 into 3.14 into mass of the electron. It is 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31. Okay. Okay, we will work out with the calculator. 6.5 into 1.6 divided by 2 divided by 3.14 divided by 9.1. I am getting 0.1819. If I divide this one, I will get 0.1819. Now I will adjust the powers. Minus 4 minus 19, it is minus 23. Minus 23 plus 31. If you take it to the numerator, minus 31 take it to the numerator, it is plus 31. Therefore, it is 10 to the power of 8. 0.1819 into 10 to the power of 8, or the frequency of revolution is 1.82 into 10 to the power of 7 hertz, or this one is equal to 18.2 into 10 to the power of 6 hertz. The 10 to the power of 6 hertz is taken as megahertz. The frequency of revolution is 18.2 megahertz. Now here, since this frequency is independent of velocity, therefore the frequency of revolution is independent of the kinetic energy of the electron or any charged particle. Next problem. A circular coil of 50 tons and radius 8 centimeter carrying a current of 6 amps is suspended vertically in a uniform horizontal magnetic field of magnitude 1 Tesla. The field lines makes an angle of 60 degree with the normal to the coil. Calculate A, the magnitude of the counter torque that must be applied to prevent the coil from turning? B. Would your answer change if the circular loop was replaced by a planar coil of irregular shape that encloses same area? ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾಯಿಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದರದ್ದು ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಕ್ಯಾರಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನೆಟಿಕ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದು ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಟಾರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಟರ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. In order to avoid that turn, we have to apply a counter torque. Now we have to calculate what is that counter torque. Okay. So in order to avoid that turn, the counter torque is applied. Therefore, counter torque and the torque experienced by the coil both are equal, okay, and opposite. In the part B, the circular loop is replaced, circular coil is replaced by any planar shape, irregular shape, having the same area. What will be the answer? That you have to work out. Now, list out what are the given things here. Given a circular coil having the number of turns is equal to 50 turns. Radius of the coil is given. Now, radius is 8 centimeter. So, if I write it in meter, 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Radius is given. Carrying a current I, that is equal to 6.0 amps current. Placed in a uniform magnetic field. Magnitude of the magnetic field is simply 1 Tesla, that is given. It making an angle 60 degree. Now theta is equal to 60 degree. The field lines makes an angle of 60 degree with the normal to the coil. Normal to the coil indicates the direction of magnetic moment of the coil. Remember it. Normal to the coil always indicates the direction of the magnetic moment. So therefore angle is 60 degree. Now first we have to calculate what is the area of cross section of that circular loop. Now area is equal to pi r square, that is 3.14, and that will substitute while calculating that one. Okay. Now area is equal to pi r square. Then we have to calculate what is the magnitude of the torque. Okay. We are already familiar with the torque experienced by a current loop or current carrying coil. Okay. Now that torque, magnitude of the torque is given by the simple formula N I A B into sin theta. So N is the number of turns, I is current flowing through that coil, A is area of cross section of the coil, and B the magnetic field, and theta is, it is the angle between the magnetic field and the magnetic moment. Now simply substitute and simplify. Now N is 50, current I is 6, and area it is pi r square. I am substituting here pi r square into B magnetic field, it is 1 into sin 60. Now that is equal to 50 into 6 into 3.14 into, now radius is given 8 into 10 raised to minus 2 whole square into 1. What is sin 60? Root 3 by 2. We know that value, root 3 by 2. Okay. So 1s are 25s are. Now take the calculator and go on simplifying this one. 25 into 6 into 3.14 into 8 into 8 into 1 into root 3, it is 1.71 is equal to, I am getting 51546 into 10 to the power of minus 4, or this torque is equal to 5.0 1546 Newton meter. Now this is the torque. Would your answer changes if the circular loop was replaced by a planar loop? Look here in this expression, torque, it only depends on area, but it does not depend on the shape. And hence, in the part B, they have given the shape is changed, but the area remains the same. So therefore, the torque remains same. For the case B, if we change the shape, torque remains same because it does not depend on the shape. Next problem, a galvanometer coil has a resistance of 12 ohm and the meter shows a full scale deflection for a current of 3 milliamps. How will you convert the meter into a voltmeter of range 0 to 18 volts? Okay, a very simple problem. Now solution. First we will list out what are the given things. They have given a galvanometer. Resistance of the galvanometer is given, that we have taken Rg is equal to 12 ohm. In some textbooks they have taken it as simply capital G. Okay, doesn't matter. It shows a full scale deflection. Full scale deflection means the current for maximum deflection in the galvanometer. The current for one deflection we have called it as figure of merit. The current for maximum deflection is called full scale deflection, that is represented by Ig. Okay, that is 3 milliamps, or that is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 amps. That is given. Now we are going to convert this galvanometer into a voltmeter of range 0 to 18 volts. Therefore, the maximum voltage range is 18 volts. Now, how we are going to convert this galvanometer into voltmeter? Now, for that one, I have to calculate what is the series high resistance. We have to find out that one. We are already familiar with the conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter by connecting a high resistance in series with it. High resistance in series with it. Okay. Now we have to work out what is that resistance. Now the formula to find the high resistance to be connected in series to the galvanometer is given by the voltage V divided by Ig, the full scale deflection current, minus the resistance of the galvanometer. Simple formula. So just substitute and simplify. The voltage is 18 and Ig, full scale deflection current, 3 into 10 to the power of minus 3 minus resistance of the galvanometer, it is 12. So very simple calculation is there. 1s are 6 are. So 6 into 10 to the power of plus 3 minus 3 numerator in the denominator, it becomes plus 3 minus 12, or is equal to 6000 minus 12, that is equal to 5988 ohms. 5988 ohms. Now this is the high resistance is to be connected to the given galvanometer in series. To convert it into a voltmeter to measure a voltage range of 0 to 18 volts. Now this high resistance you have to write it in words because they have asked how to convert, how will you convert, okay? This high resistance is to be connected in series with what? With the galvanometer. To convert it into what? Voltmeter. Okay, this is a simple problem. Next problem, a galvanometer coil has a resistance of 15 ohm and the meter shows a full scale deflection for a current of 4 milliamps. How will you convert the meter into an ammeter of range 0 to 6 amps. Now here we are converting the galvanometer into ammeter. We are already familiar in theory that a galvanometer can be converted into ammeter by connecting a small resistor. It is called shunt resistance. It is to be connected in parallel to the galvanometer. Okay, that we have to work out. Solution. Now given. Now let me list out what are the given things. Galvanometer has a resistance. Resistance of the galvanometer, that is Rg is equal to 15 ohm. Okay, and it shows a full scale deflection current. What is the meaning of that one? The current for maximum deflection in the galvanometer. Okay, that is full scale deflection, that is represented by Ig. It is 4 milliamps, that is equal to 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 amps. Okay, now we are going to convert that one into an ammeter of range. It has to read a maximum current of 6 amps. Maximum current of 6 amps. So these are the three things given. First we have to calculate what is the shunt resistance. RS, a small letter RS we call it as. A small resistance which is to be connected in parallel to the galvanometer. That resistor we have called it as shunt resistance. You know the simple formula. The shunt resistance is given by RS is equal to Ig into Rg divided by I minus Ig. Okay. So Ig they have given it is 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into Rg, it is 15 ohms divided by I minus Ig. I is the total current, that is 6 amps minus Ig is 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. 4 into 10 raised to minus 3. Let me simplify this one. 4 into 10 to the power of minus 3 into 15 divided by 6 minus 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 is nothing but 0.004. 0.004. So that is equal to 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 15 divided by 5.996. 5.996. Let me take this one almost approximately equal to 6 ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ 5.996 ಇದೆ approximately equal to 6 ಅಂತಂದು ಹೇಳಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ. So we are having here, so let me take this one as nearly is equal to 4 into 10 raised to minus 3 into 15 divided by, this is almost nearly equal to 6 ಅಂತಂದು ಹೇಳಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ. So that is 2s are 3s are 3 1s are 3 5s are. Okay, 5 into 2 it is 10, therefore RS is equal to 10 into 10 to the power of minus 3, or it is equal to 10 to the power of minus 2 ohms. 10 to the power of minus 2 ohms, or RS is equal to 0.01 ohm. The value of the small resistance is 0.01 ohm. This small resistance is to be connected in parallel to the given galvanometer to convert it into an ammeter. This shunt resistor is connected in parallel to the galvanometer to convert it into what? Ammeter. This sentence has to be written, okay? Because they asked how will you convert, okay?